That's right, I'm the boss. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing some total market technical analysis. Not only are we going to be discussing Bitcoin as always, we're also going to be diving into some analysis on the S&P 500 and the stock market, and also on gold, because guys, more than likely having to do with the news that we've been discussing in kind of roundabout terms here over the last couple of weeks, so I don't get another community guideline strike and get shut down for 7 days. Totally not salty about that or anything. Anyway, yeah, that news, as far as I'm concerned, some people disagree with me, but that news seems to be having something to do with the correction on the S&P 500, which may have something to do with Bitcoin. Guys, there is a lot of analysis to do in today's video. The show notes for this one are very long. There's a lot to talk about, so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys, if you watch this video and you get some value out of this video, hit the like button down below, because I think you're going to walk away from this with a much better understanding of the current market and where we are heading from here. We're also going to be talking about whether or not the global economy is heading for a short recession here in quarter 1 and quarter 2 of 2020. So guys, if you're interested in learning more about all of that, make sure to watch the video until the end. Before we dive on into it though, I do want to mention that today, yes, today is the last day that you can ever get CT2A for the current price, because tonight, before I go to bed, I am going to be increasing the price of CT2A from $199 to $249. All of the new content coming out has greatly warranted that increase in price, and you guys should totally join. It is a fantastic product. You can join our Discord server down below and ask any one of our 1,300 students what they think about it. But anyway, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. If you guys notice that the video quality looks a little bit better today, that's because we got a new lens. What we're rocking right now is a 35mm f1.8 Sony E-mount lens for our Sony a6400. Yes, I did just get all of that in the second take. Okay, I had one fail. Anyway, point is, this was our old lens right here, and it's pretty cool, little guy. Oh man, listen to that. Look at the back of this lens. It looks so cool. Let's see if we can focus on that. Oh man, that's beautiful. Check that out. I love camera gear so much, guys. Let's zoom back. There we go. Guys, I love cameras so much. Oh man. So much more cinematography coming in. This lens looks amazing. Check out that bokeh. Look at that background blur. Anyway, guys, enough nerding out about cameras. Let's jump into a very, very important technical. Anyway, guys, the first thing I want to do is dive on into Fred. That sounded better in my head. Anyway, Fred is where we can find the Federal Reserve's interest rate, which all other banks base their interest rate on top of. You're not really going to find a bank that is going to give you a loan on a lower interest rate than what you're going to find the Federal Reserve loaning money for, because then the banks can't make their money. That's where the money is coming from through their practice of fractional reserve lending. So, guys, in the history of the U.S. economy, normally when Fred here is reporting that the Federal Reserve is lowering interest rates, as you can see in these gray areas, it normally means that there's a recession. There's a recession in 55, there was a recession in 57, 60, 70, 74, there were a couple in the 80s, and of course you guys know about the dot-com recession in 2001 and the 2008 financial crisis. But one thing you'll notice through all of these is that the Federal Reserve interest rate went down just before that new recession started. And guys, this was big in the cryptocurrency markets about 6-7 months ago, when the Federal Reserve started plateauing and lowering interest rates from 2.4 down to where they are now, around 1.55. Now, we're going to get to other reasons why we may be looking at a recession pretty soon. I'm not convinced that we're going into one yet. We need confirmation of that, of course, but these are warning signs, and I want you guys to be aware of that. The Federal Reserve lowering their interest rates typically precedes a recession, but that's not always true. It does happen sometimes, but you guys need to be aware of this, that the interest rates have gone down. The reason that's important is the Federal Reserve has lowered interest rates to allow more liquidity into the market, to prop up the stock market and to prop up the global economy, because America is pretty much the foundation of the global economy, along with China, which is one of the problems right now, is that one of the foundational pillars of the global economy is suffering from the news. Anyway, what you guys need to take away from this is that when interest rates are going down, it makes it much easier to borrow money and a lot cheaper to borrow money, because you're not paying as much in interest. And if you guys look at an amortization table of real estate or with a car, you're going to notice close to half of the money you're paying on that payment is going to interest, not principal. So interest is extremely important to the foundation of the entire banking system and therefore the economy. So this is a statistic you guys need to be looking at. But that's far from the only thing I want to discuss in today's video, and we are going to get to Bitcoin pretty soon, but I want to jump into the stock market and the S&P 500 first. I was looking at Ethereum. This right here is concerning. Let me tell you why. About 10 minutes ago, when I started recording this video, the S&P 500 was trading at 293 points. We're now at 286. The S&P 500, guys, is in one of the biggest tailspins that we have seen in years. I am talking many years. Let's go ahead and get some statistics on this. The S&P 500 is down 14.5% in 7 days. Just so that you guys are aware of the severity of that, when the S&P 500 goes down 20%, and depending on who you ask, it can be 18%. When it goes down 20%, that is considered a technical correction and bear market in the S&P 500, which typically signals the start of a recession on the global economy because it signals one in the American economy. We have pulled back 15%, 75% of the way to that 20% mark in a week. Just a little over a week, actually, because of course the S&P 500 doesn't trade on weekends. Guys, that is very concerning. And look, I completely agree with the sentiment that the S&P 500 was overbought, it was overextended, and it was over bullish. I totally agree with that. Alessio talked about that about a week ago. Go watch his video. He did a great analysis on it. But he also said that it didn't have anything to do with the news, and I completely disagree. Now, I will admit, Alessio has a lot more experience in markets than I do, but I will also point out a trend, and that is that the S&P 500 has not corrected 15% in 7 days in a very, very long time. So long, in fact, that when I was researching for this video, I couldn't find the last time the S&P 500 corrected that fast, that quickly, that far. Even back here in 2015, we saw 10% in 5 days, but that's kind of on par with it, but it didn't go as far. Okay, I found one here. August of 2011, we corrected 14% in 7 days. There you go. 9 years ago. I mean, look at this daily chart, guys. This doesn't just happen on the stock market. We don't just see gigantic corrections this huge this quickly for no reason. Technicals are absolutely involved. I've had this uptrend drawn on the S&P 500 for a very long time. The S&P 500 rallied above it very quickly, very steeply. I mean, we were definitely overbought, over bullish, and over exuberant and everything. I agree. But you also need to look at this 200 moving average. This is one of the most important moving averages on the entire stock market, and we just broke below it yesterday. We've only broken below it once in the last several years. That was in the beginning of 2019. I remember when that was happening. Before that, the last time that happened was in late 2015, early 16. So guys, I'm not trying to freak you out, but I do want you guys to be aware of the facts that the S&P 500 is having a major correction, and that is going to have gigantic impacts on the entire economy. Guys, when the market goes down 15%, you realize what that means as far as market capitalization of companies are concerned, right? That means that the top 500 companies in America that are listed with the S&P 500 lost 15% of their value. That equates to tens of billions of dollars in value loss. This is not the same thing as when Bitcoin goes into a correction. A stock market crash like this is huge. So don't get freaked out. Don't get your panties in a bunch. Recession is far from confirmed. So please, don't think I'm trying to spread FUD, but I want you guys to be aware of this and of the severity. So keep an eye on the stock market. I'm going to be doing the same for you guys. Moving on, though, because there is a lot that we need to discuss in the cryptocurrency markets. First and absolute foremost, guys, overnight, Bitcoin corrected down to around $8,450, breaking below those two important levels of support that I discussed in yesterday's video, the 200 daily SMA and the 20 weekly EMA. I'm going to go ahead and have Taylor do a flashback right now and show you guys what I had to say on that yesterday. I will tell you what my gut and my wisdom and my intuition is telling me. I've got a bad feeling that Bitcoin's about to drop lower here because global markets are tanking because of what the news is going on over in East Asia and now well on into Europe. And yes, guys, I do know that Bitcoin is widely hailed as a hedge against traditional finance markets, but guys, Bitcoin just started an uptrend and it's in a little bit of a precarious technical spot. So I'll tell you what my gut's saying. My gut is saying we're going to break below those two levels of support. I hope that doesn't happen, but I'm a little bit concerned about it. I want to differentiate that because that's not a call, because all the technicals don't necessarily agree with that feeling, but I'm just putting it out there. That's what I'm feeling right now. So guys, like I said in yesterday's video, I did have a feeling that Bitcoin was going to break below these levels, and a lot of that had to do with what's going on global finance markets. Bitcoin, as much as we would like to think it's in a vacuum and isn't necessarily reliant on the stock market and on the global economy, it is, and there is a correlation. Bitcoin does not exist in a vacuum. I think Bitcoin may have been due for this correction anyway, but what's going on with the news is probably not helping. Guys, Bitcoin, I do believe, will become a hedge for global markets, but I'm not totally convinced that we're there yet. Reason I say that is because Bitcoin is a fantastic currency. I wouldn't be trading it and analyzing it and doing analysis and commentary on it every single day if I didn't believe that. But it is still very young, and most people are going to see it as a speculative asset and commodity rather than a hedge like gold. So let's talk about gold for a second, because like I said earlier, there's one market that's actually doing pretty well, and that would be the GLD ETF, except over the last 5 days, because everything's crashing over the last 5 days. Sorry about the noise, by the way. Someone is literally cutting a tree down across the street. Like, they are literally dropping a tree. I would totally love to go join them, guys. If you don't know, I love chainsaws. I am such a big fan of chainsaws. Too bad I gotta sit here and like record with this. Can you guys hear that? I hope not. Oh yeah, you can definitely hear that. Anyway, guys, like I was saying, we'll go ahead and push on through it. Gold is in a little bit of a correction, but in general, over the last several months and really over the last year more, gold has been doing pretty well. In response to this correction, gold is having a correction as well. But one thing you need to realize is that in the history of gold, most times it is going to have a correction during the correction of the traditional markets, but then it's going to bounce bounce faster. Reason I say that is during the 2008 financial crisis, people were pulling their money out of gold also. Gold had a correction, contrary to popular belief, during the 2008 financial crisis. It wasn't necessarily a hedge against the crisis immediately. It was a hedge against the crisis afterwards, moving into 2009, 10, and 11. I don't know if you guys remember, I was in middle school at the time, but I remember all of those commercials on television like, gold is going to the moon, buy gold right now. It was basically just a cryptocurrency ad, but in 2011 and in between you watching Dr. Oz. Gold sitting on the 20 daily exponential moving average right now. Watch that level. Anyway, back to Bitcoin for a second. I do want to talk about a few more things. That is that one, Bitcoin has gone down to and filled the CME futures gap that a lot of you guys were talking about. As you guys can see, there was a gap at around $8,555 at the base. We have now filled that with a candle wick. And look, guys, I want to make this clear. Gaps on Bitcoin do not always get filled. They almost always get filled, but they don't actually always get filled. Most gaps that are filled, they are literally putting a tree into a wood chipper across the street. That is so loud. Could you not? I kind of want to go see what's going on over there. Anyway, like I was saying, guys, Bitcoin is more than likely going to fill a gap, but at the same time, that is normally corollary. That's not necessarily causal. So, guys, please understand that Bitcoin is normally, and the stock market is normally going to fill gaps, but it doesn't have to. If Bitcoin moonshotted to $100,000 right now, it's not going to fall back down to $8,500 to fill a $20 tall gap. That just doesn't make any sense. It's corollary. It's not causal. It is important, by the way. I'm not saying that either. Enough people believe that gaps get filled all the time that they are going to make trades based off of it, which does give it strength in the market, but they don't always have to get filled. Gosh. One thing to also mention is that the MACD and the RSI on the daily chart are taking a dive, and if we look at the weekly chart, we're looking like we may be having a cross on the weekly chart in the next few weeks if we do not hold here, which would be very unfortunate. We don't want to see that happen. A cross on the MACD is not that big of a deal. Bitcoin falling below these levels is not great, but a bearish MACD cross on the weekly chart, that would be pretty rough, so hopefully that doesn't happen. One thing I also want to mention is that the longs are tanking, as you can see here. They have been in correction for the last week or two, but they are now continuing to the downside, and the shorts are actually pretty low also. I guess people don't want to bet against the uptrend, so that's unfortunate. But one thing I do also want to mention on Bitcoin would be the VPVR. As you guys can see, there is a gigantic void in the VPVR between $8,400 and $7,600. This right here, that doodad, this guy, this is the culprit right here. This is a problem. Because let me tell you something. If Bitcoin starts falling below $8,400, there's not much support left. All of this stuff, we blasted through this. We were sitting above moving averages at the time, but there is just nothing down here. I take that back. There's one thing down here, and it's the 100 daily simple moving average sitting at $8,300. If we go down to that and we don't bounce there, we're heading a lot lower, and that would not be good because that would be a technical end to the bull market. Technically, the fact that we're breaking below the 200 daily SMA, should mean that we're leaving the bull market, but we're going to give it some time before we confirm with that. One thing to also mention, guys, is the open interest on Bitcoin is well below $1 billion now, which is a good or a bad thing depending on who you ask. In my opinion, it's basically just another volume metric, and because it is going to the downside, it means that there's less volatility and volume and liquidity in the space, which is traditionally not a bullish thing. One thing to also mention is backed. As you can see, we're down to 500 contracts. We were at 1,000 the other day, but we have gone down. That is not great also because, you know, we don't have as much liquidity in the market. One more thing I also want to mention is the Ethereum chart, guys. As you will know, a few weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, I called for a pretty big correction on Ethereum, and it looks like that's what we're having right now. This is, I mean, it was expected, but it kind of sucks also. Guys, Ethereum is in a correction, and is probably doing that because of Bitcoin and because of the stock markets, but nevertheless, the technicals, of course, are still important. There's a major level of support at $198, and that happens to line up with our 20-weekly EMA. I would totally see Ethereum moving back down to around $200 right now, so be careful going long on that. It's probably going to fall back to that support. We rallied so quickly, we're probably going to fall just about as fast. As you can see, we have a major bearish engulfing candlestick right there. That is a serious mama right there. So please be careful and don't get cut with a falling knife. That right there, that's a falling knife. Be careful of that stock market. This is really concerning. And guys, I would be more than happy to discuss the news a little bit more here on the channel, but the last time I discussed it, we were on stream, and that stream got flagged for a community guidelines infraction and gave the channel a warning, which means if that ever happens again, we're going to be out of commission for a week, and I don't really want to be out of commission for a week because this is my job. So I'm going to kind of dance around the subject. Guys, I've been studying epidemiology recreationally because I'm a nerd, and that's what I do, for quite some time. So I was already pretty caught up to speed on the way that viruses spread and the way that in pandemics happen. And when I first saw the numbers on what's going on in East Asia, and I saw the rate, you know what rate I'm talking about, I don't want to say it because they're going to demonetize me or flag me or whatever. and the R naught, and I saw that it was a coronavirus, which is the kind of virus that typically causes the common flu, and you guys know how many people get infected with the common flu, then I realized, guys, this is going to get big. That was back in January 23rd when I started following it, over a month ago, and I was telling people a few days after I started following it and I saw those growth rates that this was going to get bad, and now if you follow the news, it's getting bad. If you want, you can join the Discord server down below. I'm going to post a link to where you can go and view the statistics on this. We're going to be okay. I mean, it's not the apocalypse or anything, but it is bad. There's a lot of very sad things happening, and like I said, I have to be careful about how I talk about it so the video doesn't get flagged. But I just want to say my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody who's being affected by this, and a very large number of people are being affected by this. And I also want to tell you guys just be careful, because this is, I mean, I didn't want to say it on the channel for a month. I barely told a lot of my friends this because I don't want to freak anyone out. I don't want to scare anyone, but you do need to be careful, and you do need to take precautions. I know that we've had these kind of things happen before, and it didn't result in a whole lot. H1N1 comes to mind. This is not the same. This is a lot worse. So if containment fails, and if it does reach your community, you need to be very careful, especially if you have pre-existing conditions. I have friends with compromised immune systems, people like that. They need to be very careful. The elderly, you need to be very careful if you're above the age of 60. That rate that I was talking about, it goes way up above that age. So guys, I'm going to try to keep you updated on this. I'm not just going to bow because the video got a warning, because I'm not even totally sure it had to do with that. But I do want you guys to be careful, and I care about you, so I am going to say a few things. Do your own research. It's getting to the point where it's not just some news story going on in the East that we can safely ignore. It's getting to the point where you need to be paying attention. So guys, like I said, I'm going to keep you guys updated on what's going on with the stock markets, what's going on with Bitcoin. I'm going to try and keep you updated on what's going on with gold and this news. So if you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. A lot of work went into this one. And if you did notice this new lens, it looks so good. And guys, I don't know what it is, but just like, I mean, just look at this. Like, it focuses on stuff. Look at how sharp this looks. Come on, focus. Come on. Look at that. Look at that. That's the back of a camera lens. That's the back of the lens that used to record all these videos. Is that beautiful or what? If you're watching this on a computer monitor, oh my gosh. And then you got like my Vincero watch that was in the motorcycle crash with me. Let's see if it'll focus. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's my watch. That's the one that was in the motorcycle crash. I wear it every single day to remind me not to be an idiot, and that you can, that any day could be your day. It says Veni Vidi Vici on the back. Guys, the reason I showed you that is because I'm so grateful for the kind of stuff that we're able to do now. I mean, just like, even just this lens cap, it's really cool. It's got like springs in it. I just, you know, I'm just one of those people that loves when cool things happen. And I don't even know how to explain it, but guys, I'm just so thankful for everything you guys have allowed us to do here on the channel, everything that we've been able to do. Like I said, I just bought my friend a car. Who does that at 19? I bought him a car. I told him like the day before, okay, I'll buy you a car. You need a car. Next day, had a car. I mean, that doesn't happen. And it's not even because people wouldn't do it. I know most of the people that are around me, if they were in the same position, they would have done the same. So don't think it for a moment that I'm bragging. I'm saying it out of gratitude that I was able to do that, and it's because of you guys. And I'm really thankful. So guys, if you did enjoy today's video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It really helps out the channel when you do that. And guys, I'm going to make sure we're kept up to date. And also remember, CT2A is going to be increasing in price tomorrow. Well, actually tonight, before I go to bed, I'm going to be increasing that price. So if you guys want to get in, you need to do so about within like 6 to 8 hours of this video going up. That price will be staying the same, but then after that, it's going to be going up. So if you want to get into CT2A now, I highly encourage it. There's 35 videos, over 10 hours of high-quality, well-edited content going into that. Major update and revision going on right now. There's a 14-day money-back refund guarantee. Yes, you can pay in Bitcoin, and I would love for you to join our Discord server down below and talk to some of our students so you can see what they have to say about the Academy. Someone in the comment section yesterday, when I talked about buying my friend that car, said that he felt really good about buying CT2A because it almost felt like he was making a charitable donation. And honestly, I've never really thought about it that way, but it's kind of true, because probably over 35% of the sales that CT2A has done has gone to charitable acts with helping people in my community and around me. I have a receipt around here somewhere that I sent to my CPA of a $1,000 donation I did to my high school back in November that I was able to do because of my trading career and because of helping you guys learn that craft. So guys, join CT2A if you haven't already. You're going to get a lot of value out of it. And if you don't, shoot me an email. We'll get it worked out. I'll give you a refund if you want one. Anyway, guys, they're cutting down like an entire forest over there or something. I don't know what they're doing. There's a window behind the camera. So I'm gonna go maybe walk over there and be like, hey, can I use your chainsaw? They probably will say no, but that's okay. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it out for today's video. Before I go, though, I do first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Oh, I got a real good feeling.